this video, let's work on an application together. So you will create an addition question for the first grade student. If you remember when you are in the first grade, when you learn the addition, we may be only allowed 1-digit addition. So that's why your program will random generate two numbers. They will be between 0 to 10, not including 10. So then we will prompt to the user for the sum of these two numbers. So to check if the first grade students answer correctly. For example, you see here is our output. So then we will prompt to the user, 7 plus 9 equal to what? Okay, so then user know they will answer. So you see the user enter 15. So you know that's a wrong answer. So if that's the wrong answer, we give them the correct answer. So then you see again, the other way is we do the same thing. We random generate two numbers, we display to the user. If the user enter correct number, we just say correct answer. So the same thing, you can give them the result again. So this one actually is a good practice. We will do the if-else statement. Because you see, after you random generate two numbers, prompt to the user. So then we can check the user answer is correct or wrong. If the answer is correct, we display correct answer. If the answer is wrong, then we will display sorry, wrong answer. So you see that's very typical if-else statement. So in this example, we can practice the if-else statement. And also you will see, actually, I didn't give you any example here because later I want you to work with me to see how we will write this practice. So then that's a good if-else statement, right? Then the most important thing is, how should we random generate the two numbers between 0 to 10? So then let's work together. So remember, actually last week, we talked about the rand function. So this rand function actually will random generate a number, but that integer number is very big. So then we will see how we will make the range between 0 to 10. So then we will work together. So you need to have your IDE together. That's work the example together to solve this problem. Here I have my Cloud9 ready. So then the Cloud9, so then start creating a new file. So then we will create a new file under chapter 4. Yeah, wait, on this one. Okay, so let me just write it down later. Okay, so I think I can do entries from here. Okay, so we create a new file, so I will leave that in chapter 1. So then I will write chapter 4, group work. Okay, that's DPP. Okay, so that start have our group work. Okay, so then right, so usually please keep it a comment. So that's COMSC110. We are working on module 4. Group work. Addition quiz for first grade student. Generate random number between 0 to 10. Okay, so we always have, because we need to prompt to the user, so we include IO string. So then I want to format the output with using set width or something, so I have IO main IP. Okay, so we're using namespace. std. Okay, so that's have our main function. Okay, so our main function at the end, I will return 0, meaning the program finished correctly. Okay, so now the first thing, right? So like we say, we want to have number 1 and number 2, right? Because we need to random generate 2 numbers. And also these 2 numbers, so that let me enlarge, okay? So you can see more clear on the screen. So then you have your 2 integer number. But remember these 2 integer number, number 1, number 2, we want to generate a random number between 0 to 10. So did you remember how we generate random number? Okay, right. So remember actually last week we learned rand function. So this rand function, they actually every time you call rand function, they will random give you a number is very big, between 0 to 2 to the 31 power. And this rand number actually came from the library, came from the CSTD library. So that's why we have the rand function. So this rand function, remember, since the number is very big, right? So then I want to generate the number between 0 to 10. So then here you see you need to rescale the big number. So that's why we do the rand number. We need to mode by 10. So depends on here we do the not including 10. So then not including 10. So depends on you, because now we just think about for the first grade students. So then I only want to do the 1 digit. Okay. So not including 10. So that's why when you mode any number divide by 10, the remainder between 0 to 9. So that's why we mode by 10. So that's why here we will have the random number between 0 to 10. Or you can say 0 to 9, not including 10. Okay, so depends on you, but here because I only want to have 1 digit number. Okay, so right. So after you call this random number, they will give you the random number, right? So right after I mode by 10, so that's why I need to assign to number 1. Okay, so then the same thing, I need to assign to number 2. Okay, so that's our rand function. So right, so now you after you have these 2 numbers generate, right? So we want to prompt to the user. So that's why after you have this number, so you just see out. Okay, so see out X user. Okay, so that here, right? So then that's set W. So we have 2 digits. We want to have the 2 digits because at most we only have 1 digit. So I want to set size for the number 1 is 2 space. Okay, so then you see, right? So we plus, right? So number 1 plus number 2. So again, each number you need to have the set width, if you want to have that aligned correctly. So then the next one, number 2. Okay, so then this number equal to what? So we have the user to enter. So this one, because user will see the equal, so then they will enter the number. So we don't have end of line at the end. But right after user enter, right? So then we need to save the user input, right? So right, so that's why here we need to have another number. Okay, so then continue. We need to have an answer from the user. Right, so then you can see, then after you get that, so you need to read from the user input. You have the user enter. So then we can get the user input. So now good. So I want you to think about how we will do the if-else statement. Right, so remember we say if the answer is correct, so then we will display that's correct answer. Otherwise, we do something else. So that's right here, you have the if-else statement. So the if condition is what? Okay, so the user enter number is in. So that's why here, user enter the total on the answer. So then here, actually, what we can do is, you can do number 1 plus number 2. Is this the value equal to answer or not? Okay, Because remember, user put the answer is in the answer. So then you see here, we can ask the computer also do the calculation. So this one, when you do number 1 plus number 2, so computer will do that for you. So they will give you the correct answer. So this correct answer is equal to the user's input answer. So that's why here, right, that's correct answer. Okay, so that's why you say, I forgot we say what? We say right. So just say yes, correct answer. So then we do correct answer. Or you can say congratulations, you got the correct answer. Okay. So here is user got that correct. Otherwise, you see else, right? If this one is not equal to the user and user's answer is not equal to number 1 plus number 2, so then you just say C out. Okay. Sorry, wrong answer. Okay, so then also, no matter which one we want to have at the end. So here we just say check user input is correct or wrong. So no matter what, at the end, we will just see out again. Okay, so when you see out again, you can just copy over the whole thing because we want to display the result. Okay, so this number 1 plus number 2, we just display. So equal. So then again, this one we need to display on the result. Okay, so then we set 2 as well. So this one actually is, so let me move a little bit so you can see the whole thing. Okay, so equal to number 1 plus number 2. Okay, so we can display. So or you see here is too long, you cannot see that. So then we can just add to the another line. So that's why you can see the whole program like this. So you can see here, so then we display the result. So then you can see here, if I talk too fast, you can pause to see again the whole source file. So now we can see we run the result. Okay, so we run the program. You see we run the program, so 3 plus 6 equal to 10. That's wrong, right? So you see they will say sorry, wrong answer. They give you the correct answer. So then we run again. So you see they still 3 plus 6. So then we give them the 9. So they will give you the correct answer. Okay, so now I will show you. See, did you remember last week we talked about when you're using the rand number, actually they always run, no matter how many times you run, they always give you the same number. Because anytime the random number, they just have a sequence number need to follow. So did you remember actually last week we told you before you use the rand, so that's why here actually I want you to call as rand. So the S rand actually they have the seed. I want you to use the seed time. Okay, so this one is you will random seed the random sequence. So here, since you use the seed time, so that's why you need to include seed time library. Actually, here is time. Before you use the rand, we need to using the seed as rand to give them different seed. So even this seed, we're using the current time. So that's why we're using the time parenthesis 0. So we call the current time. They will convert into the millisecond. So they will have different seeds anytime when you run the program. But if you want to use the time function, we need to include the seed time. So that's why here I show you the complete program. Actually, they look like this. So you have IL string, you have CSTD for the rand and S rand, but seed time for the time. So after you have this, right? So then you see the program we don't change. But one thing is, since you have the seed different according to a time, so then we can run the program. You see, I run the program now is 1 plus 2. So then I can run again. You see, every time the result the number generated will be different.